What's going on, everyone? This your boy Ron back with DFS Greatness, man. This is my video, man. First look, we're gonna just dive into this thing, man, and just give good picks, man, great lineups, man. Just give everybody overall views of my plays I like for the week, man. And let's get to it, man. Week 3 is here. Let's get to it. Before I start my video, if you like the content, you feel like this video is helpful, like my page, subscribe to my channel. Let's get to it, man. Hey, who played Prescott? I told you guys last week, go get Dak Prescott in your life. Dak Prescott went off, man. I know he was in a good matchup against Atlanta. Atlanta got no defense. They're terrible. I'm back at it, man. Top quarterbacks of the slate, 8,700. You got Russell Wilson. He's $1,400 cheap on Draftkings. Russell Wilson, man, is averaging 33 fantasy points a game. He's in a good matchup going against Dallas. And right now, man, Dallas, their defense is terrible, man. Overall, they rank 25th against the quarterbacks that rank 20th. So I definitely love playing Russell Wilson going against the Cowboys. I love that price tag for him, man, because like Russell Wilson, this guy averaging 4.5 touchdowns a game. He's playing lights out right now. And Dallas Cowboys defense couldn't even stop me out here if I wanted to play football. Like, their defense was terrible. It's just, Atlanta, they give up games so much, man. I'm so tired of Atlanta. But I told you guys last week, Dak Prescott, he's in another good matchup also going against Seattle. Seattle is ranked 30th against the quarterbacks, 28th overall as a defense. Last game, he dropped the 40 piece. He's $1,300 cheap on DraftKings. So 8,500. I definitely like the price tag for Prescott going against Seattle. A lot of people said Prescott wasn't a good matchup, but I love the matchup. But this matchup against Seahawks is great. They have allowed nearly 30 points to quarterbacks in a small sample size of first 2 weeks. So basically, all that's been said, Seattle defense is not that good. So paying for Prescott is not a bad move at all. The defense is not that good. Cam Newton had a good game last week against them. Also, Julian Edelman torched their defense. They just didn't get the win. But, their defense is very vulnerable. You can definitely make a lot of plays against their defense. And I'm at 8,400. You got Kyler Murray. Man, this guy's playing lights out, man. He's $1,600 cheaper on DraftKings going against Detroit. They're 0-2. Kyler Murray, right now, the Detroit defense is ranked 30th of 25th against the quarterbacks. He's averaging around 30 fantasy points a game, man. He looked good. He's getting a lot of more carries than Kenyon Drake, man. Drake been terrible. So I definitely like Murray. Price tag for him, averaging the last 3 games, 33, 27, 15. At 8,400. Do not see wrong with the price tag for him. But if you want to have some exposure, you definitely want to have his favorite target, Hopkins, and put in your lineup. And another quarterback, if I want to look at quarterbacks, is another price I would recommend you guys. You got Josh Allen going against the Rams. He's averaging 31 fantasy points a game. Josh Allen playing good, man. I'm very surprised he's playing that good. He's playing pretty good, man. The team is winning, Tough matchup, but, last 3 games, 35, 28, 26. He's $1,200 cheap on DraftKings. He's playing pretty good, man. It shocked me, He played pretty good this year, man. And I'm not benching Josh if you want to play him in season long, especially with the Rams playing back-to-back East Coast games. I feel like there is a possibility of Josh Allen a letdown, but right now he's been playing pretty good, man. I can't see nothing wrong with it. And if I did go down in quarterback, I recommend you guys to put in your lineup. If you want to spend some cheaper quarterbacks, you got Mitch Trubisky going against Atlanta. Ding, ding, ding. Prescott last week. Ding, ding, ding. I'm just saying, right now Atlanta dead last in defense and dead last against quarterbacks. I'm just saying Mitch Trubisky ain't the guy, but Atlanta defense is not that good. He's $1,800 cheap on DraftKings. Last 3 games, he's averaging 19 fantasy points a game, 15 24. I like him. He getting around 3.5 rushes a game. So if you want to get Trubisky, hey, man, go ahead and lock him in. It's just something different. Like most times when people win money, you always got to be just a little bit different. That's how you offset, and, that's how you get to the bread. And I'm just saying, Trubisky, you can play him season long, and see, he's a sleeper, man. It's the same price tag. You got Big Ben. And, Big Ben been playing pretty good, man. The Texans, They 0-2, man. It just, I don't know. I thought the Texans have a better record, but they had two tough games to start the season. Um, he's had at least two touchdown passes in both games, and the Texans have allowed the fifth most touchdowns already. Okay, I'm worried about the Texans. Not really, but they on two right now, man. I feel like this is a good game for Big Ben. To get some good fantasy points. I'm confident in Big Ben. I'm confident playing him season long, and I'm confident to tell you guys to put him in your lineup for Sunday. And if I did go down, man, I love the Ryan Tannehill price tag, man. At 7,400, Tannehill playing pretty good, man. And Minnesota, they hasn't did nothing at all, man. Minnesota's been terrible right now. Also Tannehill, man, he's tired for the second in the NFL with 6 touchdowns and with no interceptions, man. Playing pretty good. Last week, Phillip Rivers, he was in a good matchup against Minnesota defense, but Phillip Rivers didn't do nothing. Phillip Rivers washed up, but I like a guy like Tannehill to play him this week against Minnesota. I feel like Tannehill will torch Minnesota and put up some good fantasy numbers. And I say play Ryan Tannehill with confidence. And if you get to the bottom of the map, other quarterbacks you want to look at, like, yeah, Tannehill has been, he's been playing pretty good. I like the price tag for him. He's $1,500 cheap on Draftkings. And you also, man, if I want to go to anybody to look at is cheaper, you got Justin Herbert, the rookie, man. It's kind of sad about Tyrod Taylor, man, what happened to him, about the doctor puncturing his lungs, pretty bad. But he's 7,200. He's going against Carolina, $1,300 cheaper. If you want to go, cheaper, you put him in your line if you can. But I'm gonna give you guys a sleeper play that I feel is real cheap, and a lot of people probably won't have no exposure to him. And I like the price tag. The Wade Haskins Jr., man, gets Cleveland. He's $1,400 cheap on DraftKings, averaging just around 12 fantasy points a game. Cleveland defense haven't did much. They rank 29th against defenses. 25 against quarterbacks, and the defense is 29th. So I definitely like that price tag just to be, just sometimes be a little different. That's what you got to sometimes look at. And nothing wrong with being different. That's the way to go sometimes, just to be a little different, man. Yeah, man, this is the first look. I'm just giving you guys great picks and just, just to be different, And I just give you the matchup and everything to make you interested in playing the person. And just, good feedback, man. That's what you got to do. And, that's the quarterbacks I'm going to break down. I'm going to give you guys my favorite plays this week at running back. At the top of the list for running back, you got Zeke Elliott. I told you guys to play him last week. I think Zeke could have had a pretty better game than what he did last week, man. He got vultured like 3 times by Prescott. But, I had Prescott in a lot of GPP lineups, so I felt good about it. But, this week at 9,000, he's the highest running back. He's $700 cheap on DraftKings, so definitely like the DraftKings price. Going against Seattle, they ranked 28th overall. Against the run, man, they ranked 6th, so they're not letting people run against them, but you definitely can pass against Seattle for sure. And if I did want to go other running backs to look at, Derrick Henry, I'm going to keep telling you guys to play Derrick Henry with confidence. Going against Minnesota, he's $400 cheap on DraftKings. He's averaging just around 11 fantasy points a game. I'm going to keep playing Henry, man. It's going to be a game. He's going to have like 30 carries, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. So Minnesota 31. They rank 31 defense. And against the running back, they rank 22nd. Love the price tag for him. And Henry's averaging 28 carries a game. So he's getting carries, so that's not the problem. It just, they stacking the box on him. It's a little bit difficult this year compared to last year, because last year Henry, he just came out the blue, man, just started showing out, man, having them monster games. If you had him in fantasy last year, you won a lot of money. Another running back I want to recommend you guys to put in your lineup, Austin Eckler at 7,500, averaging 13 fantasy points a game, going against Carolina, ranked 32 against running backs. Eckler hasn't did much. The highest fantasy game last week was 17 fantasy points. He's $700 cheap on DraftKings. I like the price tag for Eckler, man. He's averaging 17.5 carries a game. He got the rookie quarterback starting, so they're going to definitely lean on the run game a lot. So at 7,500, I definitely like that price tag for him. The important takeaway is he's getting 20 touches a game. So him being the running back 20 is temporarily. So he's ranked 20th over running backs, especially with a matchup looming against the Panthers, who have allowed the third most fantasy points to running backs this year, 46.6, man. So they've been pretty terrible at their category. And at 7,400 against Cincinnati, he's $1,000 cheaper. You got Miles Sanders. He came back, first game back. He had 19 fantasy points. He's averaging 18 fantasy points right now. So I definitely like the price tag for him. Also, the touches. He had 20 carries last week. I like see the thing about it, man. The running backs. I don't like the committee approach at running backs. I like to get a guy who play a lot of snaps, is in the game a lot. He played 77% of the snaps last week. The Bengals had allowed the fifth most fantasy points to running backs. Say less. That's all I gotta say. You gotta look at stuff like that, man. So Miles Sanders is a guy gonna get a lot of production. You gotta put me in lineup, man. Cincinnati 0-2, ain't won a game yet, so definitely wanna look at that. And Houston, you got James Conner, man. They ranked 28th against running backs, 24th overall defense. He's $400 cheap on Draftkings. He's averaging 13 point. He averaging 10 fantasy points a game right now. So I definitely like the price tag for him, man. His rushes are not that high. He had 16 rushes last game, and he dropped 19 fantasy points. So I definitely feel like he have an opportunity to have a bounce back game going against Houston. And Houston hasn't really did much. I mean, they good with J.J. Watt getting pressure in the air now and then with sacks and stuff. But if I want to go with cheaper, definitely, I told you guys last week to get Jonathan Taylor. I'm going back to the well with him. I love that price tag, 6,700. He had 26 carries last game, man. That's a lot of carries, a lot of production. 23rd against running backs and 23rd defense overall. So I like the price tag for him. He's $300 cheap on DraftKings, so definitely like the price tag for Fanduel. And running backs you want to look at, man, Todd Gurley's been awful, man. I got him in season long. He's been terrible, man. He hasn't did nothing at all. And another running back I definitely like, he hasn't did much, is I'm going to keep telling you guys to play him, Kenyon Drake, man, going against Detroit. He's $500 cheap on DraftKings. Last game he had 18 carries. He's averaging just around 12 fantasy points a game. I feel like this game right here, man, he's getting the carries, getting the production a lot. He's the number one running back. Keep playing him. It's going to be a one game. He's going to go off. He's $500 cheap on DraftKings, man. Detroit hasn't did much to just be like, oh, man. You know what, though? The Lions should help that out this week. Detroit has allowed the third most fantasy points to running backs this year. All that's been said, his numbers been pretty low, man. But I feel like going against Detroit, Kenyon Drake should have more than 13 fantasy points this week, If I did go cheaper, I'll recommend you guys look at against Atlanta. I like Montgomery at 6,100. He's averaging 14 fantasy points a game, getting around 14 and a half touches. He's $400 cheap on DraftKings. I like it, man, because Atlanta defense right now, I feel like they're the worst defense in the league. They just going to get torched, Montgomery has had at least 14 touches in both games this season, and he did miss a little bit of time against the Giants. The Falcons have allowed 4 rushing touchdowns already this season, and the 10th most points to running back. So all that's been said, put him in your lineup. And 6,100 price tag, man. And, you got McKinnon. I don't know if he's going to be starting this week. I think he should be playing a lot, this week with all the injuries. Tevin Coleman with Mustard out. So 5,700. I don't see no wrong playing him. They're on the back-to-back, man. Last week was the body bag game. The San Francisco whole team got hurt, and they're going back to the same stadium this week as the Giants. He's $800 cheaper on DraftKings, so I like Jared McKinnon. If you want to play him in line to be a little bit different, man. This guy is going. He's been hurt for the last 2 years, and I feel like he's gonna thrive off the opportunity to get the starting position again, man. Just do what he got to do, help his team, get the win. Yeah, man. These are mostly all the running backs I recommend you guys with, man. And let's work on these wide receivers. At the top of the list, wide receiver, man, you got no other than DeAndre Hopkins, man, sitting at 8,500. He's averaging 19.4 fantasy points a game. He's been playing pretty good, man. He finally got a good quarterback. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson wasn't a good quarterback, but, he getting hella targets a game. He's averaging 12 and a half targets a game right now. He's $600 cheap on DraftKings. Last three games, 17, 22, and 16. Against Detroit, no Darius Slay. So I definitely feel like he's going to get a lot of targets and a lot of opportunities to score. Definitely have him. If you want to play him, definitely have Kyler Murray. Hey, stack Drake with him too, man. You can do a stack on that game. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And also, man, this guy really, man, he's been balling, man. I don't know, Julio just been like, it just get me mad about Julio Jones, cause like Julio costs so much money, he don't be doing shit. That's just I don't understand. Like they dropped 39 points last week. Julio only had like I think 6 fantasy points. That was just terrible. And he dropped a wide open touchdown. That just pissed me off with Julio. But you got Goodwin. He's back this week. He passed the concussion protocol against Denver. He's $1,200 cheap on Draftkings. 7,900. I definitely like the price tag for him and his counterpart Mike Evans. Mike Evans been balling. He's been playing pretty good. Evans averaging 13 fantasy points a game. But this matchup against the Broncos is good for the receivers, as Denver has allowed the third most fantasy points per game to wide receiver this year, 47.3. So all this been said, man, have Mike Evans in your lineup against Denver. Denver's 0-2. They haven't won a game yet, and their defense is not that good. They lost Von Miller early in the season. So I definitely like Mike Evans to put him in your lineup. Get a little Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady just getting used to his receivers, man. It will hurt this season a lot. No preseason. Everybody just straight up playing. That's how it is right now. And another receiver, definitely want to keep some exposure to. Thielen. I love Thielen going against the Tennessee Titans. You know why? Jacksonville torched the Titans secondary. Titans secondary hasn't did nothing at all. Thielen, he's averaging 8 targets a game. He didn't do much last week against the Colts. He only had 5 fantasy points. The game before he had 28. He $1,300 cheap on DraftKings. I'm just telling you, Titans defense is nothing to be scared of. Their defense got tore up last week, man. Jacksonville carved the Titans out, and Thielen's the number one receiver in Minnesota. So you also got to be different. That's how you win money. He might be low on. I'm pretty sure he will. Nobody's not going to probably have exposure to him, but I'm telling you guys, put him in your lineup. And other receivers you got at 7,000, Amari Cooper going against Seattle. Seattle, man, like I told you, their defense is not that good. They're ranked 32 against wide receivers. He's $500 cheap on DraftKings. Last 3 games, 13, 13, and 12. He's getting around 11.5 targets a game. I do not see wrong with you having exposure to him. Not at all. I love the price tag for Amari Cooper. And if I did go down for receivers, price-wise, Allen Robinson, like I told you, Mr. Trubisky, I'm just saying, stack them up, man. Against Atlanta, you got to have a little stack. They rank 32nd overall, and they rank 29th against wide receivers. So I'm just saying, Atlanta defense not that good. Stack him up with Trubisky, man, just be a little different. $700 cheap on DraftKings. And at 6,800, I love the price tag for Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett is averaging 8 targets a game, 14.7 fantasy points a game. Also, a good matchup against Dallas. Dallas defense is sorry. It's not good. Dallas defense is not good at all, man. They look rough. They look wore out. And, ranked 27 against wide receivers. You can have him stacked up with Russell Wilson, man, if you're going to do a stack in that game. I love the price tag. I love the matchup. And my other guy I love, Terry McLaurin. Going against Cleveland, man. He's $800 cheap on DraftKings. Last 3 games, averaging 8.5 targets a game. I think it's a good match against Cleveland. Cleveland secondary has not been that good, so, it's just somebody a little bit different, man. That's what you got to be different, and I feel like it's gotten a good matchup. And you look at guys, you got, was it Julian Edelman? Sitting at 6,500. A.J. Brown, I didn't mention him with the Titans. He's questionable. I don't know he's going to play. And if you want to spend up for Tyler Lockett at 6,800, you can go look at guys like DJ Metcalf at 65. He still can do the same thing, man. Very productive guy, man. He get the job done. The Cowboys have allowed the 8th most points per game to receive this year. I believe that we saw in Seattle on Sunday night. It's going to be something we see a lot Seahawks games this season. And also, Julian Edelman. going against the Oakland Raiders. Edelman's looking for the follow-up this week. The Raiders will allow an average of 3 offensive touchdowns per game, and they did it on Monday night. That's the third highest total in the NFL. So I definitely like Edelman to be a little different in your lineup, man. Get him and Cam in there. Also, man, I hate that my guy T.Y. Hilton has just been there, man. Phillip Rivers hasn't been like giving him opportunity to do nothing. It's been driving me crazy, man. But we know what T.Y. Hilton can do over the years. T.Y. Hilton's a dog. He can go out there and put up good numbers. And like I was saying, the cheap receivers for the Cowboys, 5,700. You got Gallup and you got C.D. Lamb. Gallup 5,700, C.D. Lamb 5,600. I love both of those guys, man. C.D. Lamb is averaging 7.5 targets a game. Gallup is 5 targets a game. They both $200 cheap on Draftkings, man. Like the price tag for both these guys. If I did go cheaper, I played Anthony Miller last week. One of my lineups, he had 0 points, man. That was heartbreaking. But it's DFS, man. You gotta gamble. You gotta take risks. Sometimes the risk works. Sometimes you be looking like, damn, why did I play this guy? If I did recommend cheaper guys, the cheapest I'll go to. I love that Corey Davis price for the Titans. The Vikings have allowed the most touchdowns to receivers this year, 5, and allowed Devontae Adams to have crushed them week 1. So I always remember that, man. The Vikings defense is not that good this year. And that's about it. I'm just trying to go cheap, you guys. And nobody else I recommend is under the price tag to play in your lineup. Yeah, that's about it. Here, wide receivers. And let's get on these tight ends. Tight ends this week, man. The top of the tight ends. Kittle's questionable, but if Kittle do not play, man, we go back to the well with your boy Jordan Reed. Definitely play him in your lineup if Kittle somehow don't play. You got Darren Waller, man. He's sitting at 6,600, averaging 15 fantasy points a game. Last game, he has 16 targets. That's crazy. He's averaging 12 targets a game. Like that price tag. He's $900 cheap on DraftKings. I love the price tag for Waller. You're going to pay that for him. And at 6,200, you got Zach Ertz. He's the 1,100 cheap on DraftKings. So price tag on DraftKings is way cheaper than Fanduel. He's averaging around 7 targets a game, man. I don't know. The Eagles look terrible this year. I don't know what's going on with them, but they're not looking good. And who played Tyler Higbee last week, man? This guy went off. He's averaging 4.5 targets a game. 4.5 targets a game, man. He's averaging 15 fantasy points a game also. He's $200 cheap on DraftKings. I don't see nothing wrong with playing this guy, man. He's out there. He's getting opportunities. They're looking for him when he's down the field. He's in a good matchup against Buffalo. And I believe he's the number 1 option when the Rams get inside the 5-yard line, replacing Todd Gurley, who is the guy the past couple of seasons. So definitely like Tyler Higbee. When they get in the red zone and Jared Goff is looking for him to throw on the ball, man, and score a touchdown. So he's been doing his thing. And another tight end that I want to have a lot of exposure to, man, Noah Fant going against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. The Saints scored 13 points from the tight end position against the Bucs in week 1, which means I'm looking for opportunity, especially near the red zone. So that's why I recommend Noah Fant, throw him in your lineup. This guy's out there. He's doing his thing. He's averaging just around 5.5 targets a game. He's $400 cheap on DraftKings, and their starting quarterback got hurt, man. So if you're a backup quarterback, you're gonna be looking for the backup. You're gonna be looking for a tight end, man. Check down Charlie, check down Rouse. That's how you get the job done. And Jonah Smith for the Titans, 5,600. Love the price tag, man. He's averaging just around 17 fantasy points a game. He's questionable. He didn't practice today, but it's just Wednesday. He's $400 cheap on DraftKings. Last 3 games, 22, 12, and 5. I love the price tags for him going against Minnesota. I have him stacked up with Ryan Tannehill. The Vikings don't worry me enough to keep me from starting Jonah, who has scored the most fantasy points this season through 4 tight ends. So he's been balling for tight ends right now, man. The Vikings don't put no fear into me, so I'm going to definitely recommend you guys putting your lineup. Jordan Reed, 5,300. Kittle is out. If he don't play, lock Jordan Reed in your lineup. That's all I'm going to say. Jordan Reed last week had 8 targets, dropped 21 fantasy points. He's way cheap on DraftKings, so 1,300 cheap on DraftKings. Go play him on DraftKings, man. And that's the tight ends, man. I'm gonna tell you guys the rock with, man. Yeah, these the plays, man. I like. It's another one I'm gonna. Rob Gronkowski just been pissing me off, man. Like I don't know what the hell's going on. I've been playing Gronk. I thought I'm waiting for like I don't know, man. Gronk eventually gonna have a game. It'll have like 2, 3 touchdowns. It's coming, but it's not happening yet. It's gonna be when you least expect it, you guys. He's gonna have a hell of a touchdown game. And another guy at 4,900. If you want to put me on lineup a little bit different, nothing, I don't see nothing wrong with playing this guy. Logan Thompson. The Cardinals are no longer a pushover. Maybe the Cardinals are no longer a pushover against the tight ends. I'm giving Thomas one more chance. Definitely want to give some exposure to him, man. He's averaging 8 fantasy points a game. So, that's how it goes, man. I don't see nothing wrong with it, man. And if you want sleeper tight ends, you want to look at, you got Hayden Hurst averaging 10 fantasy points a game. If you want to put me on line to be a little different, it's a sleeper. He's $1,000 cheaper on Draftkings. He's getting around 6.5 targets a game. You can stack him up with a Matt Ryan. I don't see a wrong with putting me in lineup if you want to be different in that direction. And also Jimmy Graham. He's not the Jimmy Graham of old, but he's still Jimmy Graham. He's averaging 4 targets a game, $1,700 cheaper on DraftKings. He's been not that good. And that's about it. I would recommend you guys. And you also, you can't forget about Dallas Goedert, man. He always come and ball out. Last game, he's giving 8.5 targets a game. He's $300 cheap on DraftKings. He's averaging 12.6 fantasy points a game. Do not see anything wrong with playing Dallas Goedert in your lineup if you want to be different, man. Yeah, man. But this is my first look video, man. I'm just giving you guys all the first look and plays I like and, plays I think will help you guys. At the end of the day, man, this is your boy Rome back with DFS Greatness. You like the page? You feel like this content I just give you guys is helpful? Subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I'm out. And also you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Greatness on Twitter, man. If you need some fantasy advice, you need some help, just hit me up, man. I'll give you guys help and good lineups. That's what I'm here for, man. And at the comment section, give me your favorite player of the week. Until next time, I'm out. Good luck, everyone. Let's get to the bag.